How processed foods destroyed my daughter's weight, health, and life.
Number one is highly palatable foods. Now, I was really addicted to those, and it started at a really young age. About age 6, I went to my friend's house, and she had tons of highly palatable foods all over her house, which is things like goldfish and just anything that's junk food and has processed ingredients. Highly palatable foods is high in fat, sugar, and salt, right? And so those are the foods that I was able to eat. I was able to eat pizza from Papa John's every week. I was able to eat goldfish, Oreos, cookies, those little chocolate brownies with the rainbow sprinkles on them. I was in a junk food heaven. And very quickly, I became extremely addicted, basically until the age of 15. So that's like an 11-year addiction or a 9-year addiction.
Well, I mean, like, do you think it's because I didn't have enough junk food at home? And because there was this phase, like, I felt like I had, like, your health in hand. And I would make sure that you had really healthy meals and whatnot. And then there's this thing called birthday parties. And then you went to the birthday party and I'm like, should I let her have cake? Should I not let her have cake? And I'm like, well, I mean, she wants to have cake. She doesn't want to be like, she wants to have cake, right? So I think that it was like when you started playing with friends and you started going to school, it was like the highly palatable foods and the ultra processed foods were all around you. And you tasted it and it totally hooked you in.
Yeah. So the way I got rid of that addiction though, because this is about how it ruined my life.
Yeah, I was blindsided. I had no idea how much power these foods would take over you because I felt like you still 90% of your food you would be eating at home. I didn't think it would completely take control of your brain and your body and then turn you into a food addict. I mean, I was completely blindsided. And I know a lot of moms out there are feeling the same way because I didn't know you were eating all that junk at your friends' houses, you know, and how rude would it be of me when they're generously feeding you when you're at their house to be like, please don't feed her that junk, you know, that would be, so it's like such a tricky situation to be in and sticky.
But it ruined my life because I was hooked on it and then I gained 140 pounds and I was constantly thinking about food all the time, starting at age 6 and really only ending at age 17. And so that's a very long time to be extremely addicted to food because of the ingredients they put in that food, like red 40 and yellow, like all these random things that you don't even know how to, pronounce, like maltodextrin and all these random words. I was like, I remember you telling me, Mom, you were like, Penelope, if you can't read it, it's not good for you.
Right. It's like a food-shaped object, I used to call them. But they lead to
that.
mood swings and depression and anxiety. And it's like you didn't even know that you were being hooked on these things. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have a mood condition. I have depression and anxiety. And it wasn't until you got off of these foods that you were able to get those things handled. But now, actually, instead of getting you off of those foods, they're giving you medication, not you, but most people, they're giving your daughters medication to lower their anxiety and depression and to stabilize their mood. When in fact, you can just set up their brains for success and their gut microbiome for success by introducing whole foods without all of these chemicals in them that are not, infiltrated with those hard to pronounce and read ingredients. And honestly, if you got to get back to the source. I think another big problem, Penelope, was that you were experiencing nutritional deficiencies. So you were craving food all the time and you felt hungry all the time. So it was like a catch-22, like a dog chasing its tail. Like you constantly had to get more food in because you just your cells were starving and then you were eating all of this food. I mean, you would eat enormous amounts of food, but it was just empty calories. And it was really dangerous because it was leading to one thing, to the next thing. It's like a snowball effect.
Totally.
And if you're out there and you're living on a lot of ultra processed foods, what does that mean? That means when you're taking the trash out, you have boxes of crackers, you have boxes of pizza, you have, boxes of, whatever in a pre-packaged, something that's in a package. So like, whereas, maybe at our house, we have a lot of compost that goes out. We have a lot of raw, like roughage from vegetables and whatnot. Like that's not processed food, right? That's just whole food. So there's a big difference in your health outcomes, your energy outcomes, and your addiction. Your brain was in addiction, Penelope. And it's super dangerous because it's like, what do? You can't keep giving an addict more of the thing that's keeping them addicted. And ultra processed foods, folks, are addictive. But you didn't want me to control you. You were like, Mom, just get out of my business. I decide what I eat. And I'm like, well, I'm enabling you by buying the food. So it's like such a challenging thing because it caused like crippling anxiety. Not only the mood swings and depression, but like your anxiety got so big in this snowball equation that you couldn't even like go to school. And what are moms supposed to do out there? I couldn't like force you not to eat the ultra processed foods. You were bound and determined because you were in addiction mode. Like, what are moms supposed to do?
I mean, send your kid to fat camp.
No,
I'm serious.
I mean, not everyone can afford that.
I know, but I'm serious. Like, you have to create the environment where they literally can't get it. Like, this is a very extreme ideology, but like, homeschool your kids. Do you know what I mean? Because Dr. Robert Lustig, he talked about this. He said the most processed foods. Guess where it is? Like, I don't think if you're thinking right now, I'll give you 3 seconds to think. Where do you think the most highly processed foods are? You might think it's McDonald's, you might think it's Burger King. No, it's school. That's the number one place that has the most processed foods.
He called it a fast food chain, the largest fast food chain. It's like they're putting kids on an IV of chemicals.
And it's true. When I went to all the schools I went to, even the nice private schools, it was junk food at every single one of them.
I got a call from the cafeteria and they were like, your daughter is eating a lot of food. I got a call from the neighbors and they was like, your daughter is eating a lot of food. This is not normal.
So awkward. I'm so sorry.
No, it's not to be apologized for. I think it's important that we share this story so that other mothers out there don't feel alone. Because chances are, if it happened to me and you, it's happening to them. And it's not okay. And they might not know what's going on and they might not know the pathway out. We found the pathway out. And I have chills all over my body just saying that because we want to share the pathway out. We were not meant to be addicts.
No.
We were not meant to be pharmaceutical patients for the rest of our lives. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves. And you were not interested in being homeschooled. And it did start in school. And I'm not going to lie.
And when I got homeschooled, I lost the weight.
You did.
I got out of an addiction.
And
interestingly enough, right?
Yes, but it's like, I couldn't stop it. I couldn't stop it. And I'm so grateful that we turned it around and that you got your brain back and you got your body back. And I want that for you. So please comment below and let us know if your kid has suffered from this or if you're right smack dab in the middle of it, because we want to know you. We really want to understand your story and we want to help you if you would afford us that opportunity. So click the link in the description below if you want to learn more about what we do, why we do it, how we do it. And don't forget to like and share and of course subscribe if you think this content is valuable for you.